Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the absolute mathematical reality of how everyday people build, well, truly incredible wealth. We're going to look at the actual numbers, completely bust some massive myths, and show you the exact mechanics behind long-term financial success. If you've ever felt like building wealth is some exclusive mystery reserved for a select few, you are absolutely going to want to pay close attention to this one. So, let's kick things off with the million-dollar question. Literally, how do average earners actually hit millionaire status without catching some crazy lucky break? Have you ever wondered how someone with a totally normal job living in a regular neighborhood somehow ends up retiring with a massive portfolio? It stumps a lot of people, and honestly, our basic assumptions about how they do it are usually dead wrong. Spoiler alert, it's not by winning the lottery. It's not by inventing the next viral app in your garage, and it really doesn't even require securing a massive six-figure salary. The real answer isn't luck, and it isn't extreme genius. It is something so much more accessible to every single one of us. Which brings us to Section 1, the concept. We're talking about the greatest wealth-building tool in existence. I'm talking about compound interest. Now, this isn't just your standard bank interest. It acts like a financial engine. It's what happens when your money earns money, and then, here's the kicker, those new earnings start earning their own money. It's an incredible loop. You aren't just getting paid on your initial deposit anymore, you are getting paid on your profits. Think of it like a tiny snowball rolling down a really long hill. At first, it barely grows. It's just a little handful of snow. But as it keeps rolling, it picks up more and more, grabbing exponentially more snow with every single rotation. Eventually, you've got an unstoppable avalanche. Investing works exactly like that. Small beginnings create massive momentum over time. Let's put some real numbers to this. Say you invest $10,000 and get an average annual return of 10%. After year one, your total sits at $11,000. Cool. But here's where the magic actually kicks in. In year two, you aren't just earning 10% on that original 10 grand, you're earning it on the whole $11,000. Your gains are literally creating their own gains, layering on top of each other year after year. All right, moving on to Section 2, the turning point. We're going to look at Sarah versus Mike. Imagine these two friends. Sarah starts investing early, right at age 25. She puts in just $300 a month for 10 years. And then, at 35, she completely stops, doesn't add another dime. Then there's Mike. He waits until he's 35 to get started, but then he consistently invests that exact same $300 a month for 3 straight decades until he turns 65. If we look at the raw data, the difference in effort is pretty wild. Over her short 10 years, Sarah invests a total of $36,000 out of pocket. Mike, grinding away for 30 years, puts in over $108,000. I mean, he's contributing 3 times as much of his own hard-earned cash as Sarah did. So here is the burning question. Based on those vastly different out-of-pocket contributions, who actually winds up with more money at retirement? I think most of us would instantly assume Mike is richer because he invested way more money and worked at it for decades longer. Astonishingly, it's Sarah. She walks away with the larger portfolio. Why? Because her money had 10 extra years to compound. Those early dollars she locked away in her 20s just kept multiplying, long after she stopped adding to them. It totally shatters the myth that wealthy people just invest bigger chunks of cash. Time beats capital. Giving your money decades to bake is infinitely more powerful than the raw amount you throw at it. Let's jump into Section 3, the real-world math of $500 a month. The math here is absolutely mind-blowing. If a 25-year-old takes $500 a month and drops it into a low-cost S&P 500 index fund, which is basically just owning a tiny slice of the top U.S. companies, and we assume a historical average return of around 10%, they'll hit age 65 sitting on a portfolio worth over $2.6 million. But here's the craziest part. Only about $240,000 of that is money they actually deposited from their paycheck. The massive, towering remainder, over $2.3 million, is purely money generated by the investments themselves over time. The system built their wealth, not their sweat. Now flip the script. What if someone waits until they're 40 to start that exact same $500 a month strategy? Even if they invest faithfully for the next 25 years, they will retire with less than half the amount of the person who started at 25. They didn't pick the wrong stocks, they didn't fail at investing, they just ran out of time. Every single year you put this off doesn't just cost you 1 year of growth, it literally robs you of decades of compounding at the very end. And you can never get that back. And this, right here, is the biggest psychological hurdle. Compound interest is a silent worker. For the first few years, your account grows kind of slow. It doesn't look impressive, and honestly, a lot of people just get discouraged. They think, this isn't doing anything, and they quit before the magic even starts. But then, right around the second or third decade, the growth just explodes. You hit this incredible tipping point where your investments are earning more by themselves than you're contributing from your day job. Your money is officially working harder than you are.
So, how do we use this? Section 4, the Wealth Blueprint, and exactly what wealthy investors do. Look, the wealthiest Americans aren't sitting around relying on perfect timing. They aren't trying to guess the next viral stock or paying for insanely complex strategies. They do the boring stuff brilliantly. They invest consistently, every single month. They keep their fees low. They aggressively tune out short-term market panic. And most importantly, when the market crashes and everyone else is panicking, they keep buying because they know they're just getting high-quality investments on sale.
The ultimate takeaway here is that the greatest advantage in wealth building isn't a genius IQ or some astronomical salary. It is entirely about discipline and patience. Wealthy investors don't chase flashy overnight profits. They focus on simply staying in the game for decades, letting time do all the heavy lifting for them. Because of these undeniable mathematical realities, financial experts pretty much universally agree on one profound truth. The best time to start investing was yesterday. The second best time is today. The sooner you get that snowball rolling, the less of your own money you actually have to sacrifice to hit your goals. Every single day you wait is a day of lost momentum. Your future millionaire self isn't born overnight. It is built through small, consistent, almost boring decisions repeated over years and years. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. What step are you going to take right now to put time on your side? Are you ready to start today and let compound interest become the hardest working employee you'll ever have?